Watch out, Walford. Whitney's having a surprise hen do. Hope I haven't just spoiled that. EastEnders at 8. But now on BBC One, get that Friday feeling with...
Now, time for The One Show with Alex Jones and tonight's guest presenter.
Oh, well, Patrick is perfect on the show on QI night.
Does that mean I'm quite interesting? Quintessentially Irish. Quietly important. Quality idiot.
That's the one.
Move just to stay in the game. I try to stay awake, can't remember my name, but everybody's changing and I don't feel the same.
Hello and welcome to The One Show with my Friday boy this week. He's back as Patrick Kilty.
And Alex Jones. What a lovely start to the show that was. That was former Keen frontman.
Yeah.
He's changed. Everybody's changed. He's looking hot and sexy.
He looks a bit like Tom Hiddleston.
Yes, he does look
Very
like...
exciting.
There we go. And Taylor Swift will be doing backing vocals on that track later in the show. He's going to be performing a track from his very first solo album at the end of the programme.
And now we've got more great guests here in the studio, one of whom is an avid bird watcher. And these guests, aren't they? They're quite rare breeds.
Yes, they are.
One is a highly intelligent migratory bird that's made the journey all the way from Denmark and risen to the top of the panel show pecking order.
And one is a greater spotted comedian often seen touring the British Isles with his distinctive facial plumage and exquisite birdsong. Let's see if we can spot them.
With these terrible binoculars.
Oh, hang on, those cameras are very far away. I've got it the wrong way round. Here we go. Where are they? Oh, hang on, there we go. It's Sandy Toksvig and Bill Bailey! Good job. Hey!
Off you.
Come on, Bill.
Come on. Hey, oh, hello. All right.
How are you?
All right, very well.
Lovely to see you.
Nice to meet you. I'm sitting here. I don't know. What, is that right?
Bill couldn't breathe. He had his toucan
there's
nose
no
on.
holes in there. Just for future reference.
Oh, isn't
Put some
there?
breathing holes in you.
Can you not breathe through your mouth, Bill?
No, I didn't think of that.
We've just brought two of the most intelligent performers in the entire country onto the Birdie song. Alex, this is a high point for us.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's just very one show.
Comedy gold.
It is comedy gold. It's comedy gold.
Listen, I've been on the show and attacked by a vulture, have I not, Alex? So you
This
and I.
is true.
Really?
The last time we had anything to do with birds,
We bonded over a vulture.
We did, yeah. We both jumped behind the
We
sofa.
nearly got attacked. It was awful.
That's a normal Friday night for you, Alex.
Well, it is.
Bill, now we're going to be talking about this remarkable book. There it is. Bill looking, I don't know, what's that? Is that sexy,
Quizzical,
hot, scared?
What's scared? Yes, combination,
Confused?
really.
Clever.
Yeah, clever, yeah, clever. Think of that.
So lots of great facts in this.
Yes, loads of facts, actually, yes. Something that came up in the research was that the ravens, of course, you know, Tower of London, you know,
Yeah.
the idea that if they ever leave the Tower of London, the monarchy will fall. So very cleverly, the wings are clipped, so they can't ever fly away.
They can't go.
So, no, they can't ever leave anyway. So
We
they
get a
made
new
sure
one.
of
Does the
that.
Queen come round and go, I'm just
The Queen, right? Yeah, just
quickly-
show her that. That's right. Yes.
Good. First bird fact
They're
ever.
very, very bright. Very bright. They're incredibly bright. They're very intelligent. When Vladimir Putin visited the Tower of London, one of them said good morning to him. He was most taken with that.
In Russian.
In Russian, yeah, that's right.
We're going to be talking to you as well, Sandy, later on about your brand new appointment to QI. Congratulations.
Yes,
by the way.
congratulations.
But last time you were on, you talked about your part in founding the Women's Equality Party.
did,
Now,
yes.
this week, obviously, we've learned how UKIP sort of their differences. So how heated does it get with you lot?
Well, obviously, Women's Party can go to bit tense. We had a rather awkward discussion about whether the cream or the jam should go on the scone first. It was very much Devon versus Cornwall. It was quite unpleasant. That's all I'll say about
Let's
it.
kick off over that.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've got a big treat for you later in the show. Not for you, but for you guys, because we will be tasting the most expensive whiskey on sale in the UK.
Of all the
now you're
times to be
interested,
pregnant.
Sandy.
The eyes.
Now you're interested. It costs an eye-watering £20,000 a bottle.
Hence Brian the security.
Wow.
There we go. Hence, we have Kim Kardashian's security guard and the and the audience from The Price is Right. There they are.
Now, while we wish Sandy well in her QI job, it's not necessarily the best time to be taking on a brand new high-profile position.
No, from England manager Sam Allardyce to UKIP's Diane James, we've seen some pretty rapid rise and falls over the last few weeks, but they're not the only ones lacking staying power, as Tommy discovered.
Hang about, what's your problem? God, have you ever been sacked? Or did you resign? You can't fire me anyway, because I quit. You see, sometimes it's just not that easy to hold on to that dream job. Many have failed. Sam Allardyce's recent 67-day stint as England manager was an age compared to some. A lot less was the reign of Lady Jane Grey as Queen of England. She had just 9 days. Poor girl lost her head. Or the actor George Lazenby, 007, for just 90 minutes.
This never happened to the other fella.
And then there was George Entwistle, Director General of the BBC, for just 54 days. Recognise the scene? Yep, it's Back to the Future. But hang on, that's not Michael J. Fox. The film originally cast Eric Stoltz as McFly, but got rid of him after just 5 weeks. Tommy, what are you doing, man? We need to get you back to the future to find another job. Go on. Raj, you know about this kind of stuff. If I'm owning a job for 5 minutes, will it affect my long-term career future?
But it's not going to help.
What's worse, though? Being sacked or resigning just because you can't hack it?
80% of the time, you're better off having a conversation. Because if you don't have a conversation, 2 things happen. A, you don't have control of the situation, which makes your stress go through the roof. And secondly, the organisation doesn't understand what you can do for them and what you want in return. If it's not right for you, you're better off telling them.
What's the shortest career time you've ever come across?
There's a really famous example of a marketing director that's working for one of our biggest institutions, paid over 20 times today's national wage, who was sacked on the first day for sitting in his office and reading the FT. Don't worry, it happens to the best and it happens to the rest.
Thanks, Raj. What is the shortest job you've ever been in, duration-wise?
3 months.
Just a weekend.
10 years. 1 evening.
1 evening? What happened? Why did it end?
It was a babysitting gig.
Oh, that's a good...
They
well
came
done.
home.
Give the kids back.
Cleaning toilets.
And how long were you in it for?
About 10 seconds.
What was it?
An internship.
Why did it end?
Because I wasn't getting paid.
Why were you only there for 3 months? Were you not very good?
Because I didn't like my boss.
Losing a job can also mean having to change your wardrobe to impress. In Jeremy Corbyn's case, it was a whole full cabinet. Remember Pat Glass? She resigned from her dream job as Shadow Education Minister after just 2 days. So when it comes to keeping your job, you've learned... What do you mean? You can't hear me? So the main thing we've learned today... It's you again, mate. It's the 3rd time today. I'm sorry, look, I know you've only started today, but you got to go. You're fired, son.
See, I did 2 hours as a red pepper chopper in a sandwich factory, but I wasn't chopping quick enough.
That was your shortest job?
I was out, fired.
I've never really done anything. I've never been asked back for any shows apart from this one. So it's
Suggests a
So there you go.
Patrick One-Show Keelty is what they call me in the business, Bill.
suggests a low standard for this show.
Exactly. Well, let's hope that you last a long time on QI because it's a brand new job.
Oh, it is so exciting.
You've been on about 17 times as a guest, haven't you? So this must be a dream.
Who
to
knew those
host
facts?
it.
Yeah, it's my favourite show. I was saying to Bill before we came on, there's that perfect show where you feel like you're being entertaining and you're being informative at the same time. And also it's a show that you just have no idea where it's going to go, do you?
You
It
just
flies off.
turn up and it happens. It's
Yeah.
a kind of conversation which sort of flows in every direction.
And we had some extraordinary moments. Alan Davis, who is a complete comic genius, there is a moment, I don't know if they're going to show it because I wasn't responsible for the edits, but there's a moment when he impersonates a female trout faking an orgasm, which is honestly one of the single funniest things I've ever seen. So, tune in just for that.
Yes. I've never seen that.
We can definitely show that at 7:10.
I've not seen that on The Natural World.
Oh, there you are. Who knew that female trout could be bothered to do
So
the
fickle.
whole Meg Ryan experience?
There you go, really.
Amazing, amazing.
And it was in the New York deli as well.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
Well, from what we've seen from the first episode, you're settling in really well. And here, you're debating the origin of the word quiz. Here we are.
So it used to mean a sort of eccentric person. How it has come to mean asking people questions for points, we don't really know. There's a story that Richard Daly, who was a theatre proprietor in Dublin in 1791, made a bet that within 48 hours he could get a word into common parlance. And it distributed the word quiz to be put up on walls all over Dublin, and it became part of the language.
So really? When they say the police are quizzing the suspect, that's wrong, isn't it?
No, that's from inquisitive. And inquisition. So that's a separate...
You've got it. You're in the right chair. A little cold feeling then.
So you knew that straight away. Straight out of the traps, you knew it.
But we loved that. What we loved about it was that it just looked like you've been doing that all your life.
Yeah.
It just looks like you're home.
I was so comfortable. I just settled in. The thing is, I know everybody. The only thing about it was that I have the same chair that Stephen Fry used to sit in, and they had to put it on a platform because so I had to climb into the chair for each show because I'm afraid I was much too short. I was much too short for the desk. So maybe next series they'll let me have my own chair. Who knows?
Well, this series is N. So, favourite N fact?
OK, so, you know, sometimes your house smells a bit, but you get used to it because you're living in your house and you've got guests coming and you're not sure if your house is smelling. You can reboot your nose. I didn't know this.
How?
Well, what you need to do is to introduce more oxygen into the nose, and you do that by running up and down the stairs a few times. You get more oxygen in the nose. You get to the bottom of the stairs, you suddenly go, wow, that's a terrible smell. You literally have rebooted your nose. Wow. Yeah. If you live in a bungalow, I'm not sure what you do. I'm not entirely sure.
Move house, probably.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, yeah.
How's it going there?
I think you might need to reboot yours.
What's the N for? No! No!
OK, QI is back for another series on BBC Two with Sandy at the helm on the 21st of October.
Right, it's nearly time to taste some very, very posh whiskey. Very posh. And, of course, Patrick, Scottish whiskey is regarded as the best in the world.
They don't even know how to spell it, Alex.
Well, thanks to the love of a strong woman and the Second World War, another country has taken on the Scots and Irish at their own game.
It is a story that, funny enough, John Sargent was very, very happy to tell.
For obvious reasons.
The Highlands of Scotland can be so attractive. The mountains, the fresh air, and, of course, the whiskey.
Across Scotland, there are over 100 distilleries. Whisky accounts for more than 85% of Scottish food and drink exports. £4 billion worth. Around the world, millions of people are partial to a wee dram.
This is an award-winning whiskey, one of the best in the world. But the strangest thing is, it doesn't come from around here, it comes from Japan. Look, if I go on like this, I'm gonna get smashed, honestly. Just cut.
How the Japanese came to be so good at making whiskey goes back to 1918 and the arrival in Glasgow of a Japanese chemistry student, Masataka Takatsuru.
Masataka combined his studies here with apprenticeships in several whiskey distilleries.
And he returned to Japan with more than just expertise in Scotch whiskey. He'd fallen in love with a local girl, Rita Cowan. Harry Hogan is her great-nephew.
This photograph here is where Masataka first met Rita. Masataka was invited to the house by Rita's sister Ella to teach jiu-jitsu to their brother Campbell.
Right.
Eventually, Masataka moved in as a lodger. And during that period of time, he got to know Rita very well. During Christmas dinner, when the pudding came, they cut the pudding up, and in Masataka's piece was a silver sixpence, and in Rita's piece was a ring. And was that a message? I don't know.
Oh, definitely a message.
Within a very short space of time, they married.
Now, that must have been quite a strange thing to happen, a mixed marriage in those days.
It was very unusual. Both families were upset at the time, but eventually came to the conclusion that it was the best thing for everybody. At the end of 1920, they moved out to Japan.
That must have been a heck of a culture shock for her.
I'm sure it was. Very few people spoke English, but she got involved very quickly. She started offering piano lessons and also teaching English to some wealthy families.
Rita's income helped tide them over, and Masataka was then able to set up his own distillery, Daya Nippon Kaju, later shortened to Nikka.
But life changed abruptly for Rita and Masataka when Japan entered World War II in 1941.
On December 7th, 1941, Japan, like its infamous Axis partners, struck first and declared war afterwards.
By then, Rita was a naturalized Japanese citizen, but she was suspected of being a spy, sending intelligence to the Allies, and she was kept under constant surveillance by the secret police.
Though Rita suffered, the war led to a boom in their business. Colin Ross is the boss of a Scottish distillery now owned by Nikka.
Scotch whisky was famous throughout the world, and not less so in Japan, and they developed a taste for Scotch whisky.
And then along came the war. Scotch supplies cut off.
This gave them the ideal opportunity to open up and sell their own whisky.
Well, you can't fight a war without whisky, can you?
Definitely not.
After Japan's defeat, foreigners, including Rita, were slowly accepted back into the community. The Nikka distillery in Yoichi continued to thrive, and still does today.
One time I arrived at Yoichi station, and surprise, surprise, in the station it's all tartan and shortbread and all this sort of thing, just like being in Scotland.
So a bit of Scotland has been planted in Japan.
Very much so, yes.
Very good. In Japan, Rita is now much more than one half of a famous love story. She's renowned in her own right as the mother of Japanese whiskey, and I'll certainly drink to that.
John having a terrible time there, as we could all see.
He's still missing in the Highlands, if anybody knows of his whereabouts.
Well, we have got the treat. Now this, right, £20,000 a bottle. It comes in its own kitchen cabinet, as you'd expect for that type of money.
That is amazing.
And
It's pretty
each
impressive.
shot is about £1,000. We've not paid for it, so just down it.
Wow.
Really?
You don't really think? Basically, you're turning the one show into a stag weekend,
Can
Alex.
I just smell it?
If you just get a little bit of that in the baby's
get a bit
bottle,
of person to
it'll
spill
sleep
it.
at night. Here we go. Oh, this is a whole week's drinking in one sip.
I just let it touch my lips. That's
and
700 quid.
I've had a terrible life.
I've always loved you.
I've always loved you.
I've always loved you. You are my best mate.
You're just my favourite.
No.
Is there 4 people there?
Nice though, you know.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean...
Bill, you're not sure, are you?
Wow.
You're not sure.
Oh, you see.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious.
Delicious.
Amazing.
I'm not going to rush out and buy.
I feel it's a luxury drink.
It is. Now, as we're now all flying, we should probably talk about
yours
bird
are
spells.
nice.
I think. See what I did there?
Step away.
Just thought about that after the first sip.
Good.
Tell us about the new book. Where did the inspiration come for this joy?
Well, I think I've growing up in the West Country, my mum and dad, going out to bird sanctuaries was always a family day out. So it came about really because a very old friend of mine who lives in the tropics in Indonesia, Victor, and I was with him. We were out there on a bird watching trip actually, and I said, "Anything you miss about Britain?" You know, you've been out there 40, 50 years. And he said it's the sort of the subtle colours of the birds, British
muted,
birds. The muted colours, browns, and the seasonal changes, which you don't get in the tropics. And it sort of made me kind of rethink British birds again. And so when I came back, I started to kind of look at them in a different way. And then the opportunity to do the book came along, so I thought I wanted to make them a book about ordinary birds you used to see in your back garden. You know? And it's really for people... Not necessarily people who are necessarily bird watchers and twitchers, but people who want maybe not know much about birds. And this is a kind of an introductory
Definitely gets you
sort of
interested.
notebook.
I mean, it's full of lovely illustrations.
Lovely, very realistic
the
pictures
Canada
drawn by
There's the
yourself.
bill goose.
There's a very realistic picture there of the Canada goose.
Yes, it's a regional variation.
That whiskey's a lot stronger than I thought.
Yeah.
the illustrations are lovely. There's anecdotes in it, and there's really good facts. Like we had one at the top of the show.
Yes. Oh, there's masses of facts in it.
Let's reel off a couple more then.
All right, here's one for you.
It's you right next. Here's one for you.
All right.
Are you the guy at the bar going, let me tell you about birds?
I've got to tell you about birds, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you about them. You get 4 birds in a Renault.
It's like being with a UKIP person.
Outside. 1,400 wrens weighs the same as a swan. So it's always a handy thing to know.
1,400 wrens?
1,400 wrens weighs 1 swan. If you're buying wrens...
Must have been a very patient swan when they were doing that.
How did somebody find out?
I don't know, actually. That bit of fact, I don't know, really. I mean, I suppose someone, really, that's a hobby, isn't it?
Railway scales.
OK, well, we've one for you. Can you identify this bird?
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, God.
Patrick, show Keelty.
I tell you what, it's amazing. This it gives you psychic powers. Wait a minute. It's got a beak. It's got a beak. It's
all 4 of us sitting waiting for it to appear.
Now, what's that, Bill?
Oh Lord!
Wait,
no, that's you don't see these very often.
Oh,
it's a cuckoo.
No.
Isn't it
well, it is a cuckoo, but it's actually...
What do you mean it's not? It is.
Cuckoo.
No, it isn't.
It is.
Wait, hold on.
Called Bill Bailey, and it's flying currently over the Sahara Desert.
Really?
Towards the Congolese rainforest.
Oh, wow.
And they've named it after you, officially.
How extraordinary. Well, I mean, delighted.
There you are.
There
Thank
it
you
is.
so much
Bill
to the British
Bailey's.
Trust for Ornithology for letting us name the bird Bill.
I'm delighted by that.
You can have that.
Oh, that's very kind. I'm very chuffed.
No problem.
Thank you very much. How marvellous.
Now, Bill's Remarkable Guide to British Birds is out now. A lovely, lovely book.
And the new series of QI is all about the letter N. So our next film is all about juggling.
Juggling? Should not be nuggling.
Not dropping stuff.
And not dropping stuff.
Circus acts have entertained families for generations, and my personal favourite is the jugglers. But you may not have noticed, performers almost never juggle any more than 7 or 8 items. Juggling 3, 5 or even 7 objects is relatively straightforward, but add just 1 or 2 more and it rapidly becomes absurdly difficult. The record for juggling balls, throwing and catching them more than once each is 11, achieved in this attempt by Alex Barron, the only person to do it on camera. Is it possible to juggle more than 11 balls, or does physics make it impossible? Gravity, the height you throw the balls, and hand speed all place limits on how many balls you can juggle. Here to help explain those limits is Dr. Colin Wright.
The problem is, the more balls you add, it becomes disproportionately harder. And that's because of gravity and the way gravity works.
What goes up must come down, but the problem is that objects like this ball don't go up and down at a consistent speed.
As I throw the ball, it has to go fast out of my hand, but then it slows down when it gets to the top and stays there for a while and then starts to come back down again. And when it comes to you, it will once again be travelling fast. So you can see there, it actually seems to almost hang in the air for a long time. And that's actually what happens. When you're juggling 9, or the world record 11, half of them are hanging there at the very top of the pattern, and they all have to miss each other. And that's what makes it difficult.
Because of this quirk of gravity, the more balls you add, the more congested the top of the arc becomes. So you need a lot more precision to stop them hitting each other.
Come on!
So that's one limit that makes juggling high numbers so difficult. To help me understand the other limits, Colin and I are meeting one of the UK's top jugglers, Josh Turner.
Every time you add a ball, you've got less time to throw the balls, and you've got to throw them higher.
Juggling more balls means you need to do one of 2 things: juggle them higher or juggle them faster to give yourself time to deal with the extra balls. It's those limits of height and speed that cap how many balls it's possible to juggle. And once again, gravity makes things difficult.
So let me show you. Here, tick, 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 tick. I'm juggling this high at that speed. If I want to get twice the time, tick, tick, tick. I have to throw tick, 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 tick. That's a lot more than twice the height. That's actually 4 times the height.
So to avoid having to hurl balls miles into the air, jugglers also juggle faster. But there are clearly limits on how high and how fast someone can juggle. If we know what those height and speed limits are, we can work out a theoretical maximum number of balls.
Yeah, your accuracy starts to suffer there, and then you drop.
Josh managed to juggle at 7 metres for a short period. Juggling any higher than that would require almost superhuman strength. So that provides one limit for Josh. But the other limit on how many balls you can juggle is set by how fast your hands can move.
I think it's too fast.
Slowed down, we can see Josh can make around 8 throws a second before it simply becomes impossible. Combining that with Josh's maximum height of 7 metres, you can calculate that Josh could, in theory, juggle 15 balls, but that would require complete accuracy and no errors. So, in theory, the 11-ball record could be broken. But because of the limits of gravity and also hand speed, the juggler would need to be hugely strong, and it would also be a superhuman effort of precision. Right, here we go.
I can't do 3, let alone 11.
We've done 3, and we're definitely not making it to 11.
Well, you 3 are redundant.
That is almost it for tonight. Thanks to our guest, Sandy DeBill.
Yeah.
Good luck with QI and the book.
Thank you.
We've got more great guests next week, including Tom Hanks, can you believe? But now from his very first solo album, The Wave, it's former Keane frontman Tom Chaplin with Quicksands. Have a great weekend.
Come around, shot down, shatter on the stony ground. You take it from me, it's how it'll be. Your dreams will come true, fall through, screw you, batter you to black and blue. You take it from me, it's how it'll be. Love's gonna leave you broken, time's gonna work you over. You get up and suck it up. You keep rolling on, but if you crash in the quicksand, I will pick you up, I'll pull you out. And if the world shakes, your brittle heart breaks, we will patch it up, we'll work it out. Bounce back, wheeling down a bumpy road. You take it from me, it's how it'll be. Through the good times, the sad times, all off you go. But take it from me, whatever you need. Life's gonna bring you glory. There's another side of the story. You keep rolling on, but if you crash in the quicksand, I will pick you up, I'll pull you out. And if the world shakes, your brittle heart breaks, we will patch it up, we'll work it out. When your world cracks open, when your heart is broken, we will patch it up, we'll work it out.
Lights, camera, dance.
Stunning.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Get ready for Hollywood glamour.
I cannot